What's up, everybody? Hello, hello, hello. Coming to you live once again from my parents' house during the winter break. It's Anuj. What's up, everybody? This isn't. This is weird. I was thinking earlier on how to describe what this show is going to be, and honestly, there's no appropriate description because, quite honestly, this is a show that is a whole lot of nothing. Shout out Seinfeld if you guys got that reference. No, this show is totally just a brain dump. That's what this is. It's fucking late at night. I'm recording this when I'm supposed to be, on vacation, having fun. But I had so many thoughts during this holiday break with all the various interactions I've had, all the people that I've gotten to see, all the places that I've been. I'm just such a fucking jet setter that I had to report this. And for those of you that don't understand my sarcasm, that was a complete joke. Um, but I hope you all are staying warm. It's been, I hope it hasn't been as cold, but I highly doubt that. I'm going to call this the holiday brain dump. That's what the show is going to be titled. It's the holiday brain dump, where I just dump all of my useless thoughts that I've been having during the holiday break on this show. So let's have fun. Let's dump some thoughts, and I'll try to get out of here as quick as possible because this is just a whole lot of nothing. So if you're into that, then feel free to join me on this journey of my thoughts. If you're not into it, then you can kindly exit out of this podcast. But before you leave, like and subscribe because I think that's important as well. Follow me on all social media platforms at Essential Question Pod on TikTok, which has been my most popping one recently. Shout out to all my TikTok followers. Y'all are the best. Y'all are going to get me to that Charlie D'Amelio status. I hope you know it. I hope you know that. And shout out to the shout out to the Instagram followers as well. We're above 100, so that's a accomplishment. I'll take it. I'll fucking take it, bro. We working out here. We're basically a mid-tier influencer at this point. Nah, it's like lower mid. I feel like on the, socioeconomic class of influencers, I'm like poor, but that's totally besides the point. So let's get right into this show, or brain dump, about nothing. So this has obviously been a topic that has come up a lot here over winter break for me. A lot of aunties and uncles, for those of you in the Indian community, South Asian community, have been coming over, been asking what I've been up to. And I'm sure every college kid goes through this where you kind of you're like back for winter break and a bunch of your family is over, or like your friends or close associates to your to the people that you grew up with. And they're all over and then they're talking about oh, so Anuj, oh, so and so, what are you going to do? What's the plan after college? What's the plan in the future? The first question is usually do you have a girlfriend? But that's the easiest no that I ever have to give. And then it's what are you doing in the future? What does your life look like in 5 years? And I'm like, uh, honestly, and my go-to answer is Auntie, honestly, I don't even know what I'm gonna eat for breakfast tomorrow. And that gets them all, and they're like, ha ha ha, ha, so funny, Anuj. That is gonna make you $0 in the future. No, I'm kidding. But it's got me thinking, backup plans. Backup plans. Do I have a backup plan? And quite honestly, guys, I do. I really do have a backup plan for this podcast. And I'll be dead honest about what that backup plan is. It's very, very simple. If this podcast fails, I am going to turn into the fittest possible version that I can be. Like the ultimate Kumail Nanjiani version of my body will come out. I will just go to the gym 5 times a day. I will pump 150-pound dumbbells, if that's what they call them, and just go 1, 2. And I'm going to do that. And you know what I'm going to do? There's one person's DMs that I'm going to slide into. And you know what her name is? Melinda Gates. That's the plan. That's the plan. See, I had this plan in high school, and you can ask the members of the History Bowl team because I told them in high school exactly what my backup plan was in case my creative career didn't work out. They were like, "What are you going to do?" I was like, "I have one very simple plan." Because at the time, Jeff Bezos had just divorced Mackenzie Bezos. I don't know if Mackenzie Bezos anymore. I don't know what her maiden name is. Didn't do enough research for that. But he had just divorced his wife, Mackenzie, because, he was a news anchor. But anyway, that's besides the point. Yeah, Jeff Bezos was cheating. They were divorced. And so Mackenzie inherited like half his fortune, which was like $45 billion, right? And then Mackenzie was single. And like the people didn't realize the immense opportunity that they had, right? Single, rich woman in her 40s. Like, I'm the younger man. I should be her target, right? So I was like, I'm going to slide into Mackenzie Bezos' DMs. Of course, though, she like married some rando science teacher, and now some science teacher who was probably making like $55,000 a year teaching in Seattle public schools is now like the 5th richest man on the planet, right? So good for Mackenzie. Melinda Gates, you are my next plan. I am going to be the best looking thirst trap you have ever seen in your life. I kid you not. This is my plan. Like for all the aunties and uncles who are like, Anuj, if the podcast career doesn't work out, what are you going to do? And I'll be like, great question, Mira auntie. But here's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and get into such good shape, probably better shape than Kumail Nanjiani got into. Then I'm going to post some nice pictures and slide into Melinda's DMs. Melinda Gates. I want to make that very clear. Melinda Gates, who has a hell of a lot of money after separating from Bill. And I'm going to slide in her DMs and be like, "What's up, girl? You know what we could be doing with those billions? We could be doing a lot. Anyway, that is one of the things I've been thinking about as a backup plan. So if this podcast doesn't work out, I'm going to try and become a thirst trap for a living. That is what I do. Thirst trap for billionaires. Right here. I thought of the idea first. You know what? If there are hotter men out there, which obviously there are, y'all should go thirst trap some billionaires. If you want to make like easy bank and have your life made, then you can do whatever you want. Melinda Gates should be priority number 1 for my straight men out there, right? If you're not straight, that's cool. But for my straight men out there, Melinda Gates and women too. Women, feel free to like flood the DMs. Everyone should be flooding Melinda Gates' DMs right now. I think, in my opinion, I think it's I think it'd be cool. I think it's cool. Anybody should be flooding her DMs. Like it's, slip slide trying to provide season. If you got that reference, shout out to you. But anyway, I'm just saying, whatever sexuality you are, whatever gender you are, slide into billionaires' DMs because maybe, maybe you could be sitting in a mansion doing absolutely nothing by the mere age of 27 and be the happiest person alive. I don't know. But, everyone's like, you got to eat. You have to make some money. There you go. Marry rich. That is my backup plan is to become a trophy husband. But that does not matter because that is just a mere sliver of a thought that I've had during this holiday break in which Christmas was celebrated. And I did absolutely, just did what Indian people do during Christmas, which is not celebrate. But didn't do much. Let's go to this, man. Let's go to this. People and the podcast. Okay. And like I said, this is so unprepared. This is just off the cuff. So if I say some stupid shit, I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm not trying to get canceled today. Go ahead and cancel me. Listen, I have a couple stories I want to tell. There's actually a couple stories with the podcast and how people have interacted with me that I really want to share with everyone. And I think the first one happened literally like 2 days ago. 2 days ago. Well, not 2 days ago. Well, it'll be like 3 or 4 days when this is finally released. So yeah, sometime like a few days ago. I was at work, okay, doing what I do, and these 2 girls come up to me at the register, and I work at a restaurant, so I was like, "What can I get for you?" And they're whispering to each other, and like the thing is, like where they are and where I'm at the register is very, very close. So even if you're whispering, I can probably hear what you have to say. And these 2 girls, I kid you not. This is not me trying to go for clout. This is not me trying to be like, oh my God, I am the freaking shit. No. This actually happened. I, this happened, and they're like, I think we recognize him. He looks really familiar. Wait, the podcast, is he the guy? Is he the guy? I swear to God, this happened. This happened. No, this is completely 100% true story. I'm not even joking. And they're like, wait, would he even recognize us? I don't know. And I was like, can I help you? And I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything because I figured I wanted them to like have the guts to be like, are you so and so? I'm not going to be like, ha, yes, I am the podcast guy. Nice to meet you. For a conversation I obviously wasn't supposed to hear if they were whispering, right? Took their order. And then they like kept like periodically staring at me throughout the day, or sorry, throughout the night that I was working. And they were like, right? Like for those of you that were watching on YouTube, got to see my very animated staring contest that I had with the camera. But that was literally what it was like. They were just going like, oh, should we talk to him? Should we not? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And I was like, well, like, if you want to talk to me, talk to me. But I promise, I'm not like a super unapproachable dude, okay? And I wasn't gonna like go out there and toot my own horn, like, yeah, I'm the podcaster. Hey, man, nice to meet you. I'm basically a fucking lower mid tier influencer, and I can probably get your brother's business off the ground. No, I'm not gonna say that shit, right? Like, that's stupid. So I just let it fly. They left, and and yeah, I honestly didn't recognize who those two girls were because they were like, "Will you recognize us?" I don't know who they were. But if they see this, if they see this episode of the podcast on Sunday, shout out listening to this. What's good? So there you go. The two that were whispering about me. You know what? I guess I have clout now. I'm cool. You stroked my ego, but I don't know who you are. Anyway, so that was one story, right? That happened recently. There's another one that happened during Thanksgiving break that I actually haven't shared with anybody. This is a really fun one. It's all public too. Okay, so I think the day of Thanksgiving I released a show. I think it was an after show or something. And you know how like for the after show, for those of you that do follow me on Instagram, by the way, at Essential Question Podcast, um, great content on the posts, if I should say so myself. I make them all. No, but on one of the posts for the after show, I posted something about like I usually do like a story for each after show. So I think I did like the ups and downs of being a sports fan was that particular story. And so I wrote about it, blah blah blah, like put up a couple videos and images of my sports fandom, et cetera, and then like clipped them all, put them in a post, and packaged them. And I put a bunch of hashtags because, like, I put a bunch of the hashtags for the issues that I talk about because I think that's important, right? Like, I feel like that's relevant to what we're talking about. So hashtags I put was Peng Shui, who was the Chinese tennis player who I have talked about at length on this show, multiple times. Did an update episode on her as well. And so I put the hashtag in there with like a bunch of other ones and then put it out there. Literally like 3 hours later, I get a DM or not a DM, a comment. Is a public comment. It's literally on the post still, undeleted, and it's this person basically saying like, "This is such a trash post. Why did you use the hashtag Peng Shui?" And I was like, "Oh shit! Like, did I really offend somebody like for this?" And I mean, I talked about Peng Shui on the after show, and then I went ahead and talked about her on the Changavi show itself. So I knew I was in the right on this one. Like I wasn't, using her hashtag for clout or anything. And so I messaged back, I commented back. I was like, hey, like, so and so, like I respect your opinion, but also I, talked about Peng Shui on the show. Literally, you just have to go through and listen to it, man. Like I'm not lying. Like this is real content. And I was like, and then I commented a little petty thing back, and I was like, hope your Thanksgiving is not trash like this post, and gave him a little smiley face. So I commented that back, something along those lines. I don't know the exact comment. And then This is funny. And then like nothing happened. So I was like, all right, whatever. Like this was just a, very minor, stressful 20 minutes of my life. Then I like 3 days later, I'd completely forgotten about this. And then my guy, shout out Jack Bucket. If you're listening to this, if you're listening to the holiday brain dump, you are a genius, Jack. No, couple literally like gosh, it was like 3 days after the post had come out, Jack comments and is like at the he tagged the guy and was like, bro, like what are you on? Like the Anuj, like doesn't talk about like doesn't use hashtags for extra likes and clout. Like, he uses this like platform to just talk about issues and like media things that aren't being talked about, blah blah blah. He basically like defended my honor. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have fans that do that for me now. Like I was like I felt like Juliet and Romeo and Juliet, right? Like it was just like, oh my god, like my honor was being defended by Romeo. Like it was beautiful. Um, and then and then the dude comments back and is like, oh, I see. Maybe I shouldn't come off. Maybe I shouldn't have come off as super harsh. And and then I was like, all good, man. We would totally respect your opinion though in this community because we do a lot of polls, a lot of questions, and we talk about a lot of topics. I think your opinion in the conversation would be totally valid. If you follow here for more, I think it would be a lot of fun. I'd expect to get a response to that. I do that stuff a lot just to see like what people do. And then 3 hours later, this guy comments, done, followed. And I was like, we just went full circle. This dude started out as a complete hater, right? They were like, bro, you're trash. Like, what is this trash post using these hashtags for activism for your clout? Fuck you. To like, I'm a fan now. And I checked, and as of like a day ago, they're still following us. They're still following the Essential Question podcast. So turn your haters into fans like this. If this particular person is still watching and watches my shows, hello. I am Anuj. It is nice to meet you. I hope you continue to watch it, watch content because it's been a lot of fun. And I think you're going to continue to enjoy it. If you unfollow, you know what? At least I got you to follow for a little bit. And I don't think you hate me as much as you may have on Thanksgiving night when you commented that. Yep. Yep. That was like a dude. This Wi-Fi is freaking trash, bro. My house, terrible internet. So if you guys are, on the what's it called? YouTube edition, you just saw me crap out for like a solid minute. So I apologize. My Wi-Fi in my house is terrible. Uh Frontier Communications is the worst internet provider I've ever seen. And Xfinity, even though they're a horrible company, treats people better. It's a fact. But anyway, back to the point. I love the followers. I love turning haters into followers. I did it one time and it gave me great satisfaction. So I hope to continue to do it over and over again. And if that person is listening, hello, you have acknowledged. So welcome to the community, bud. Appreciate you. Okay, so we talked to other people. I'm a fucking egotistical motherfucker. So we have to continue. We have to continue on stroking my ego and talking about my thoughts and my feelings and my opinions because that's all that matters. So the holidays aren't working for me, man. this year, the holidays did not hit. It's been 2 years like this, bro. Um, like honestly, I don't know. And it's kind of it even started like pre-pandemic. The holidays just haven't been the same. They're they feel like I don't know, they feel long for no reason. It's also probably because of the fact like you have a job, so it doesn't really feel like anything. It just feels like a normal day at the office type thing. And it's just the spirit isn't there anymore for me. I don't know. Maybe it's I'm growing older and I don't care as much anymore, whatever. I don't know. But, Christmas this year was very like Very uneventful. Christmas is supposed to be a time usually for family. I got to see like family on Christmas Eve and the day before and stuff, which was cool. But it wasn't like a big deal, and it never has been. I think we're Indian, so we don't really like, particularly being South Asian, like Christmas in our community is like important. Probably, I mean, they don't like South Asian people, particularly those of, like Hindu and Muslim descent, don't, or sorry, like come from Hindu and Muslim families, don't Sikh families as well, like don't particularly celebrate the holiday. So it's not, a big deal for us. It's more so just like, oh, extended vacation. That's why a lot of like Indian families, South Asian families like go other places because they're like, oh, we just have free vacation. We're not visiting family. Like this is not a big holiday for us, so we're just gonna like dip to Cabo or wherever the hell Indian families go, South Asian families go. I don't know. But you do see a lot of South Asian families go on vacation during like the winter holidays because that's that's a time that we don't really celebrate anything. So it's like, all right, we're out, peace, right? Because Eid is in August, like Diwali's in November, so we've already had our holiday season. We're like, all right, let the white people have their thing. But I don't know. The holidays just haven't been hitting for me as hard as they used to. Maybe it's because of the fact that I'm really young, or sorry, I'm really old now. In turn, that I'm so like anti Santa Claus that I have zero ability to just have holiday spirit. I don't know what it is. Um, but definitely like even like when I was in high school, like the holidays were cool. I was like, oh wow, like I Christmas and all of these things, and like I don't know. This year was just weird, and I think it's going to continue to be that way because new I'm working on New Year's Eve, so that'll be fun. But I don't think it's going to be. I really am just not like I never look forward to New Year's Eve. Hot take: I think New Year's Eve is one of the most overrated holidays of all time. Every single New Year's Eve I've celebrated, I've either started out with this complete optimism that the holiday is going to be amazing and then turns out to be shit, and then like, or I'm just like, oh, the holiday is going to be shitty, and it is shitty. So it's been like, I've been alive, 21 years. I remember maybe 15 of my New Year's, and they haven't been particularly fun. Usually it's like me and a couple friends hanging out in a corner while our parents are partying and drinking. And, that was like the first 11 years of my life. And then now, like, and then mostly now it's just like low key at home, and literally the last 3 years, New Year's Eve has been spent on my couch with both of my parents snoring while I watch Anderson Cooper and Don Lemon get a little too lit and I take, a shot of whatever alcohol is in our liquor cabinet. So it's been fun. But honestly though, I hot take is I really do believe that like New Year's is a holiday better spent alone. I last year I think I went to bed before midnight. And I went to bed before midnight here on the West Coast. I was just reflecting on my year, reflecting on quarantine, reflecting on 2020 as itself as a whole, and I just spent a lot of time like alone sitting on my balcony, like really just soaking in the fact that the year was over and just all the good that happened, but also all the really bad that 2020 brought us. I think both societally and also just as a person dealing with a lot of stuff during that year, as many did. Um, but I don't know. New Year's Eve has always been an interesting holiday to me. I know it's a holiday that like a lot of people like to go out and get drunk and here's a little PSA for everybody that wants to get lit on New Year's Eve: get as lit as you want to, just be safe, get Ubers, don't drive, don't drink and drive, don't you know um operate a motor vehicle. Just use good common sense. Hang out with people that you love and that you trust, because New Year's Eve can get chaotic. And just be safe. Use your common sense. Be safe. Uh, get as lit as you want to, but also, be safe with your litness control. Don't get overlit where you're throwing up all over the floor and not having a good time. Make sure you balance balance your litness with practicality, and you also are making good decisions. If you do those two things, you're gonna have a great New Year's Eve. I'm just not the type of person who enjoys New Year's Eve, probably because of the fact that I don't know, like I'm not maybe I'm not like a big partier type vibe. I don't know what it is about New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve just doesn't do it for me anymore. It never really used to anyway. Even those big parties like uh were never like my thing. I don't know. I'm talking like an old fucking man, bro. And like Christmas was cool as a kid because like my parents, would get all festive and like make me do the cookies for Santa, and they'd bring us gifts, and like it would be like a whole thing on Christmas morning. We'd open the gifts and they'd be like, "Oh my god, like this is amazing." Blah blah blah, like I'm so cool. I got this new thing for Christmas. Like I'm dope. You're not. And then like there was like a bunch of times during when we were kids, like where we would travel on Christmas, and like that was cool too. But like also, it was like no gifts, and like I never had that. I've never had that traditional kind of Christmas day. I feel like I've had weird Christmas days, and that comes with the fact that I am Indian American, right? And our parents are trying their best, and I totally respect that. Um, but maybe, yeah, I just maybe bucket list thing. Just once in my life, just have a very traditional Christmas. Like, what do white people do for Christmas? Let me be white for a day and just have a white Christmas. I don't know. I don't know. But maybe my brown Christmas, maybe I'll miss my brown Christmas at that point. I have no idea. Right. My my Christmas this year consisted of me basically sitting at home. There was like no food in our fridge. I was hungry all day. And then I like went out with a friend and we looked for fast food, and then all the lines were too long, so we just decided to go home. And pretty much was just hungry the whole day, and I ate a couple cookies, and I watched the Warriors game, and I watched the Warriors win, which was cool. So I don't know, man. The holidays have just they've got me a little down. I'm not even gonna lie. It's not the same anymore as it used to be. Uh, a lot of things in life have changed, obviously, in the last couple of years here, but what do I need to do to make the holidays better? I think that's my next kind of mentality shift, is like maybe it's a mentality that I have. Maybe I'm just bringing in negative energy into my life. I don't know what it is. So maybe next holiday season, like I'll come in with an open mind and I'll be like, yo, like let me uh let's bring up the spirit here, let's bring up the vibe and see what happens, because you don't know. We don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. So let's see. But the holidays haven't been working for me. So I just want to say that. But it is truly what it is. Okay. Listen, I want to talk about this. I'm going to be on my ass about, and everyone's going to talk to me about. And I want to get this done and get it over with once and for all, because this has also been on my mind recently. Okay. And if you're not a sports fan, if you don't know who Jimmy G is, you can feel free to fast forward through this part of the episode. But I have the necessity to talk about Jimmy Garoppolo for a second. So today it was revealed through a conference call with reporters that Jimmy Garoppolo has a sprained thumb, which was later confirmed by Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport, who actually said the injury was worse than previously thought, and the thumb is completely fractured. There's like torn ligaments. It's like a 4 to 5 week recovery process, which in turn basically means, at least for now, with the information that we've been given, that Jimmy Garoppolo is out for the season. Okay, he's out for the regular season. The regular season is 2 weeks. Best case scenario, if the 49ers make it there, he'll be ready for the NFC Championship. So we're basically not looking at Jimmy Garoppolo for the majority of the playoffs and the regular season. For the rest of the regular season, if Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport's report is correct. And so this may mean that Jimmy Garoppolo might be officially done here in San Francisco. This is supposed to be his last year because, we traded 3 first-round picks for this rookie stud quarterback who's been sitting on. And I know that this year I've posted a lot of mixed reactions about Jimmy. I know I've said a lot of things, bashing him, telling people that he's a trash quarterback and all of this stuff. But I want to kind of go broad picture here with Jimmy for a second and talk about him fully, because I think it's important, and I really want to bring out all the nuances that I have with Jimmy Garoppolo. I will always love Jimmy Garoppolo as a human being and as a professional. He has handled the whole situation of being a quarterback here in San Francisco beautifully. From the moment he stepped onto the podium for the first time with his introductory press conference to all the way to now, he has been nothing but a class act, a really good human on and off the field from what I can tell, and just a really good person in general. And I respect that. I know it's not easy as a professional athlete to like deal with the constant criticism, and Jimmy's had to do that for 2 years. I know he has $100 million in the bank account. Totally totally valid. He has a lot of money. He doesn't need, like, I don't have to like sit here and be like, oh my God, I feel so bad for Jimmy. Like, I shouldn't feel bad for Jimmy. Like, he has $100 million in his bank account. He's set for life. His kids are set for life, and his kids are probably set, right? The Garoppolo family name is okay. Okay. Like, Jimmy will be fine, like, financially speaking. But I think I just wanted to say this because when Jimmy first came to the team in 2017, he gave 49er fans something that, like, we had not had in a really, really long time, and that was hope. He gave us hope. He gave us like, a bright future, and just something to look forward to. It was like crazy. It was Jimmy, like, he's a good looking guy. When he first came in on the 49ers, he won 5 straight games. Like, he was just he grabbed the attention and just grabbed the hearts of, like, every 49er fan. Promise I don't have COVID, but every 49er fan who was, just who was a fan of the team at the time, and he just shifted the tide here in the Bay Area. Like, you see in the Bay, like, the 49ers for a long time throughout, like, my middle school years and early high school, really throughout high school too, were just known as the mediocre franchise that, kept losing and didn't win, and they were trash and they sucked. And Jimmy brought winning back to San Francisco, right? Obviously, like, the first season was rough, but then, he took us to a Super Bowl, and he did a lot for this franchise. It was very quick. 5 years felt like a blur, honestly. I mean, I've been following Jimmy Garoppolo since I was 16 years old. 17 years old. That is kind of crazy to me, that I have been watching this man for that long. And let me tell you something about Jimmy. I think what's cool about Jimmy is that I think the thing that I like the most about Garoppolo is he had this mystique around him, and I really like was just so confused by that personality trait. It was very strange, to me at first, but he was always a puzzle and he was an enigma, and I really dug that as, like, a fan, as someone who, like, likes digging into people. He was just very interesting, and I appreciated how kind of interesting that he was throughout his time here. In that, like, he just he felt like he was a much deeper person than what he let on in the media, and it was just fun to, like, figure that out. I don't know, maybe that's just me being, like, a personality nerd thing. But I really did like Jimmy. Like, Jimmy was, like, one of the first athletes that, like, I fell head over heels for when he came here. And I fell for the mystique. I fell for the brand of Garoppolo. I fell for, like, the good looking, and I gave him a lot of passes up until about 2020. And there was one game in 2020 that officially did it in for me, which was week 8 versus Seattle. And he just didn't perform. And that was a week he got injured. And I just haven't felt the same way about Garoppolo ever since that game. I know, like, people point to week 1 at Arizona, and that's when I started to feel some type of way about Jimmy. But then, like, that game against Seattle was just like, it put me in. I was done. I was like, no more Jimmy. Um, like, I can't do it with this guy. So, but I just want to make this point very, very clear. Like, and I'm gonna, like, do a whole, like, written post, like, when Jimmy, eventually, like, when it's over, like, when the whole season's over, and I'll do a whole thing about Jimmy Garoppolo. But it's probably done at this point, I think, in my opinion, based on the reports, that I think Jimmy's done for the season. I think Jimmy's done here in San Francisco. I think Tennessee may have been the last game, but of course it goes out on an injury. That's just the classic Jimmy Garoppolo way. But honestly, here would be my message to Jimmy if you were to ever watch this. Dude, thank you. Thank you, Jimmy. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart, because when you first came to this team in 2017, like, I can speak from this as, like, a fan. I personally was going through a lot, like, mentally. I mental health wise, I wasn't at, like, the best state of my life. But there was something about, like, athletes and sports that just kept me going. Even through, like, the really shitty days. Because 2017, 2018 were rough mental health years for me. And Jimmy, Jimmy and Steph and like the Warriors, the whole Warriors, but like Jimmy was like the one thing that was just a big constant. That was just like I would wake up in the morning and like read about reports about the Niners and the Warriors, and like that's probably why I like sports so much. Is it's got me through a lot in life. But Jimmy was just this guy that like I aspired to be when I was that age. When I was 17 years old, I wanted to be Jimmy Garoppolo. When I was when I was like that age in high school, like he just made such an impression on me. I was like, I want to carry myself like the way Jimmy carries himself, right? I want to look like Jimmy looks. Obviously, like every guy wants to look the way Jimmy looks. Like it's still a thing. But I want to say to Jimmy, like if you ever watch this, if you ever listen to this, thank you so much for getting me through a period in my life that I didn't know I'd get through, frankly. And it was weird that it was you of all people. You know, the guy that I hate on the most in terms of being a quarterback was the guy that beloved for 2 years. And got me through, and even even during 2019. Um, that just got me through a lot in life, looking at Jimmy, just looking at that figure, looking at um and I know that sounded hella weird looking at that figure, but no, just like looking at who he was as a person and just looking at the quarterback and like being that guy. Like that like and just being a blue collared kid from Illinois, family oriented, just going kind of the hard way to the NFL, double A football, one double A football, being the backup to Brady and then finally getting your starting position. Like, that story, just the way he acted, I know it sounds funny, and I know it's, hilarious to a lot of people, like, "Oh my god, a dude to Jimmy, like, what? Ha, ha, ha." But, dude, thank you so much, Jimmy. I really mean it. You mean a lot to me, and you always will. I root for nothing but your success in the future. I really do hope you're able to make it to the playoffs one day, again, and have a great amount of success with whatever team you end up with next year. I just really hope you don't start at quarterback again for us because, I just kind of want to see Trey play. But thank you for what you did. And I really do appreciate it. But I think it's time for you to leave San Francisco. um, and I think it's better for everybody involved. And I know that was kind of mean. So sorry. But I promise I have like a whole spiel that I'm planning about Jimmy. But Jimmy, thank you. As a fan of San Francisco, as a fan of the San Francisco 49ers, like I thank you so much for everything that you've done for us. I know this has been awkward, this whole, 5-minute spiel of what I've been saying, but thank you. Thank you for everything. I really appreciate you. You got me through a tough period in my life. Um, and like I was on top of the world that day when you signed my shirt at training camp. I felt like the kid who had won the lottery. So thank you so much for everything that you did for the franchise, everything that you did for me, and you didn't even know it. So thanks, Jimmy. Appreciate you, man. And if this is it, it's it. But anyway, before we get into the weeds about Jimmy Garoppolo, I know that was long and it ranted a lot. Again, late night story coming about Jimmy G. But Mom and Dad, if you're seeing this, please ignore this part. No, I've been thinking about this a lot, dude. A lot of my friends obviously go to college, and they live in various parts of the world, or sorry, the nation for the most part. I don't really know people who live in other parts of the world now, but most of them live throughout the different parts of the nation. Go to college there and live their own independent lives, and don't necessarily live at home or haven't really for the last 3 years or so. Um, it's about this March is going to be 2 years since I've started living at home. And let me tell you something, living at home in your 20s when all of your friends are away at college, when you are questioning your life decisions on a daily basis and you're going to school and you're doing all these things, you feel it's a weird, weird, weird feeling. Um, you know, uh, I've been doing online classes for almost 2 years, and living at home is rough. Like it's it's fine. And like, I love my parents for giving me a free place to stay, free rent. You getting me free rent in the Bay Area, like anybody would take that. But it is a rough place to be, particularly when you're like supposed to be growing socially and mentally and all of these things and having all these new experiences. I feel like I'm not, and I feel like I've had a lot of new experiences, but it's been in this chair. It's been talking to you guys. It's being vulnerable with you guys. It's been, having these conversations over this microphone. But it hasn't been, the traditional like, oh, I went out and partied too hard one night and I got this pulsating hangover the next day. Like that was not the way it was. The way that I've learned, the way I've experienced things is through the internet, and through being at home and going to work and just interacting there and like being a part of that environment. And I've had a different set of experiences that almost make me feel like a growing adult in the workforce, but I'm not, because I'm still in school and I have all these classes I got to do, right? But like living at home is tough too, dude. And I know this shit is like not easy for any party. It's not easy for my dad. It's not easy for my mom. It's not easy for me. Like shit. Like I'm supposed like imagine, right? Like you're 21. You like as a kid, like you picture yourself like, oh my gosh, when I get older, I'm gonna be doing so much. Like I'm gonna be balling out. I'm gonna be jet setting all over the country, like visiting all my friends in college. Like when you graduate high school, you're like, I'm gonna be traveling, I'm gonna be going here, I'm gonna be going there. Like we're gonna go to Cabo on spring break, right? Like I don't have that traditional college experience. I'm stuck. I'm at home, right? Living my life like I'm in high school, and I've been doing that for 2 years. It is tough. It's tough because none of your friends are here, right? They're all away having these amazing experiences, and I'm so happy for them. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not even envious. But like I feel like everybody around me is moving on. Everybody around me. And I can tell during this holiday break, like I talked to friends of mine, I'm like, how are you? They're like, oh my gosh, I have this internship here this summer and I'm moving here and I've worked on this and I've done that and I'm working and I'm having these incredible experiences with these people and I have a boyfriend and I have a girlfriend and actually like I figured this out about my sexuality and blah blah blah. And it's like, what the fuck? Like what am I doing? you know? Like I'm living here, but I feel like, I've discovered so much like in front of this microphone, but also at the same time, it's like, dude, like what am I doing? Like is this the way to go? Like am I really growing sitting here and talking to this camera? Like have I grown in my own way in 2 years? I don't know. I don't know. Like in certain aspects of my life, I do not fucking know if I've grown, right? And it's so different, and it's weird. It's weird. It's this weird feeling of like, I feel like I'm stagnating because I've been in the same place for 2 years, like, the same physical location, but maybe when I change that scenery come fall, I don't know what'll happen. Like, it's weird, and living at home sucks, I think also as a 21-year-old because, like, y you and your parents don't know how to handle it, right? It's this awkward relationship of like, "Wait, he's supposed to be at college, but also, like, we're his parents, so, like, we kinda treat it like it's extended high school, like, curfews and all this shit." I'm just like, "Dude, why? Why?" Like, the fact that I'm 21 years old, right? I'm sitting here and, like, I get texts at 11:30 in the night, like, "Where are you? Are you coming home soon?" Like, it's just like I know it's, like, a parent's responsibility to worry and all this stuff, but it's like, dude, if I was in college, I had no one to worry about. If I lived on my own, no one would worry about me. I don't care. I'm somewhat like, I feel like I'm craving independence, but also at the same time, like I'm hella dependent because I'm living in this house. And this is like, and I'm not trying to like shit on living at home because it's great and it's so underrated actually. Like I've saved a hell of money. I've learned things about myself that I didn't think I would. And, it's been great, but also at the same time, like, it sucks. And there's a lot of things that I feel like I need to grow on, um, in the outside world that I'm just not ready for. Like, what if I get into the outside world and I just get my ass fucking beat for 5 months straight? Like, I don't know, you know? So maybe I have no idea. I truly have no idea how this whole thing's gonna work out. But living at home has been tough. And I just want to be honest with you guys that, I may say, coming to you live from my parents' house, but at the same time, like, it can be rough out here, dude. And like, I kid you not, like it's not easy all the time, you know? And yeah, I just thought I'd be honest, you know? It's not easy for your parents, but it's also not easy for me either, you know? All your friends are in college. You're kind of bored. On some weekends, you just kind of sit up and you're like, what am I going to do? And, but I've been working on myself constantly for 2 years, but it's like, dude, like maybe I need to go out and just meet people, just like be different and like do something with my life. But like at the same time, it's like I feel like I am, but like you're also not because you're not in that specific location, and the people around you don't believe you because you're in the same location and you look the same and you sound the same, and it feels like you haven't had any new experiences. Like when my friends ask me like what's new, I'm like, not much. And that's the truth of the matter. It's tough. It's tough out here. But I want to end it on an optimistic note. Thank you guys so much for listening. This has been my brain dump. Very unfiltered, very raw kind of thoughts from my brain. I know we went to 45 minutes. I apologize. But thank you guys for listening. Going through all the internet shortages and all that shit. Fuck Frontier. That's going to be the hashtag to this. Hashtag fuck Frontier. Anyway, thank you guys. I really appreciate every single one of you that tuned into this. I hope you guys have a great New Year, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. More shows are going to be coming out soon. But this was my brain dump, and I really hope you appreciated it. It was weird. It was random. It was the show about nothing. It was my Seinfeld episode. And if you guys like this episode, feel free to like it. Feel free to subscribe on YouTube. And if you're on Spotify, hit that follow button. Make sure you're tapped into the latest content that's going to be coming out. And then also Twitter as well. Go ahead and follow that. All the links are down below, so you'll be able to find that stuff pretty easily. Thank you guys so much again for listening. Appreciate all of you. I'll be back with a little New Year's in review for 2021. And I'll see you soon. All right, guys. Peace out. Have a great day, night, afternoon, whenever you're listening to this. And yeah, that's all I got.